Alrighty then. I can't tell if that impression was more Jim Carrey or Jack Nicholson. Let me know in the comments below who you thought I was impersonating. But anyway, hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, which came out in 1994, directed by Tom Shadyac, and stars Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura, a pet detective living in Miami who is tasked with locating the missing mascot for the Miami Dolphins, a dolphin, and this leads to a conspiracy within Miami's own police department. So you guys voted for this movie to be this month's viewer-picked retro movie review. It was between this or Only Yesterday, and I want to thank Sir Ty Jensen of my YouTube membership group for nominating Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Thank you for that. And if you're not a YouTube member, one of the perks is that you get to nominate the movies for these viewer-picked retro reviews before they get put up for the polls and voted on by everyone else. So if you've been requesting a movie for me to do a retro review on, but you want to get it fast-tracked, you can join YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. Anyway, let's move on to Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, because I was excited to revisit this movie. This movie was actually nominated last month along with Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Ace Ventura got another chance, and I've been excited to rewatch this movie because I grew up with Jim Carrey. Out of all the 90s comic actors, Robin Williams, Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Jim Carrey was always my favorite, mainly because of his commitment to just be as goofy as possible. It's his physical comedy, more than all these other comedians, that really gravitated me towards Jim Carrey. My favorite movie of his might have to be Bruce Almighty, which was also directed by Tom Shadyac, but I think his best in terms of his straightforward comedies has to be Liar Liar. I know Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind exists, and that's his best movie overall, but I'm talking about in terms of his straightforward comedies. I think Liar Liar is his best, whereas Bruce Almighty is my personal favorite. So as for Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, I was so excited to rewatch this movie because I'd only seen it once, and when the movie was finished, I really did not enjoy it. Like, this really is sucky for me to say because I love 90s era Jim Carrey. But there was something about Ace Ventura: Pet Detective that I'll talk about a little bit that kept me from really enjoying this movie. I want to talk about the positives because the main thing about this movie that is the reason you watch it is Jim Carrey. The level of dedication that he puts into this movie, acting like the biggest goofball in the world, is commendable. He's not always funny, and in fact, when you get to the second half of the movie, his physical comedy becomes really degrading. But when the movie starts out, and when you're first introduced to Ace Ventura, he's funny. Like, he really goes all out in terms of being as goofy and over the top as possible. So it's more my admiration to Jim Carrey's willingness to put himself out there that makes me enjoy his performance to a certain extent. Again, after a while, I think he just becomes a little too hyperactive, because when I think of movies like The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Liar Liar, and Bruce Almighty, more the first three, there's more of a legit reason why he acts so over the top and insane. In The Mask, it's because he's wearing the mask. In Dumb and Dumber, well, I think the title of that movie says it all. And with Liar Liar, he acts like a normal guy throughout a lot of it, but he acts really eccentric, over the top, and goofy when he's trying his best to lie, but he can't because he has to tell the truth. But you know what? Liar Liar is another review for another day. When it comes to Ace Ventura, that's his whole personality. So after a while, you're just like, why doesn't anybody slap the shit out of him for being annoying? So again, after a while, he got on my nerves. And I realized when watching this movie, we all remember the Ace Ventura shenanigans from the sequel, When Nature Calls, when it comes to those spears in his leg and he goes, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" Or that meme that started circulating last year where he goes, "I'm alive!" And then an alligator pops up out of the water and he goes, I think we remember the sequel more than we do the original, outside of Alrighty Then. So yeah, when it starts out, it's funny, but as the movie goes on, it just becomes a little degrading. You're wondering why anybody's willing to take this man seriously. I mean, they do because he's really good at his job, but you're surprised that nobody is as annoyed as anyone should be with a person like Ace Ventura. And then we come to the big ol' elephant in the room with this movie. The villain, played by Sean Young. So Sean Young plays the detective of the Miami Police Department, who absolutely hates Ace Ventura's guts, because he keeps butting into this case and she tells him, get off the case, you're not involved with it. But as the movie goes on, Ace Ventura finds out that Sean Young's character was actually responsible for the dolphin kidnapping because she once used to be a disgraced football player who had a vendetta against the Miami Dolphins. I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this as I can, but her character was originally a guy. So she had a sex change before she became the Miami PD detective. And watching this revelation and how the movie treats this character later on made me feel very uncomfortable, because there's the whole realization that Ace Ventura has where it's like, Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Einhorn is a man. Oh my God, Einhorn is a man. Because Ace Ventura and Sean Young's character, Einhorn, made out in her office. And when he comes to that realization, he's like vomiting in the toilet. He's using a plunger to suck out like any germs. He's brushing his teeth in an aggressive manner. He strips bare naked, burns his clothes, and gets in the shower to try to rinse himself off. And it's just, I mean, it would only be funny if you don't know the context of this scene. If you just saw Jim Carrey acting like a total goofball and stripping down naked, then that itself is funny. But when you have the context to why he's doing all of that, it's just not funny at all. A couple months back, I got a comment on my Team America review how they thought the sequence where one of the characters talks about how they were raped by the cast of Cats was actually funny. And I just didn't find that funny at all, because I don't think the subject of rape is funny at all. At the very least, that story is so over the top and so ridiculous in the way it's told that I can imagine somebody thinking it's funny. I don't, but I can see why someone else would. This whole sequence in Ace Ventura, especially in the big climax when he tries to reveal that Sean Young was actually a man at one point, it's not funny. Like, it's just not funny at all. It's kind of degrading. It honestly made me feel uncomfortable, especially the gross joke where like Sean Young's character is hiding her penis in the back of her underwear. Like, it's unappealing, it's not funny, and it's wildly transphobic. I remember the scene bright as day when Ace Ventura is basically brushing his teeth, throwing up, and burning all his clothes. But I forgot the scene at the end when we get the big case closed moment, and it just left me with a bad taste. There are several reasons why this moment involving Sean Young's character is not only uncomfortable to watch, but also offensive. Not only is this moment not funny, not only is this moment downright degrading, but it also paints trans people as wanting to clear their criminal records so they transition from one sex to another. It's the exact same problem that Emilia Perez had. Well, one of many problems with that movie, where that movie basically went, hey, the movie's about this Mexican drug cartel who wants to try and start a new life, so they transition to a woman, which I didn't review, but I did see it before the Oscars came out, and that is a movie that I need to review at some point, or at the very least talk about, because I have a lot to say about this wretched, horrid piece of shit. Ace Ventura, at the very least, has Jim Carrey acting like the biggest goofball in the world. So that's why I'm gonna be nice and say, watch at your own risk. If you watch this movie in segments, mainly when Jim Carrey is just being Jim Carrey, it can be enjoyed. And I did get some laughs whenever Jim Carrey was just being himself. But all the transphobic jokes and the mean-spirited nature of the end just really kept me from enjoying this. So sorry guys, I was excited to rewatch Ace Ventura and finally review a classic 90s Jim Carrey comedy, but at the end of the day, watching this as an adult, it doesn't hold up at all. And there you go, that's my review for Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I want to give a special thank you to my subscribers and YouTube members right over here. You guys are the reason why this channel continues to grow every day, and if you want to help to financially support the channel and get access to perks like nominating the next viewer-picked retro movie review, then you can do so by joining YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. But until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on these social media platforms and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.